Hey everybody, it's your girl Jacqueline Chantel.
And I'm Shay, and you're watching Elevated State.
What's your take on multi-dating?
So, my take on multi-dating is like, as long as you're upfront with the people, I don't really see a problem with it. It's like, like it's people that, even if you're in a relationship and you're not married, they're like, I'm single.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, if you're upfront with it, because to me, if I'm dating, then I'm trying to figure out if I want to move forward with this person.
Yeah.
So I may need some multi-date.
Exactly.
Multiple people
Figure it out.
to see like what I want, like what package I want.
Exactly.
So, I mean, just be upfront.
For me, I'm personally multi-dating right now. So I actually enjoy multi-dating because you really get to know multiple people, and it kind of opens your mind to understanding what you like and what you don't like. So now I can like go on one day with an individual, like, yeah, this not gonna work. I don't like you. You know, especially when you're young, because we always want like one thing. We think it's just this perfect guy out there. But when you start multi-dating, you get to understand that it's multiple personalities, and you finally start to understand the 80-20 rule when it comes to dating and marriage and a life partner. You understand that 80-20 rule. You're not going to get everything that you want in one partner. So you kind of become more open with understanding that.
If you're dating for the intent, some people is dating because they want free meals, like. But
right.
If you're dating, right? If you're dating for the intent, because I'm dating because I want to get to know somebody to see if I want something, to build something with this person, then like multi-dating is awesome, because I need to date multiple people to figure out, yeah, I like that, I don't like that, yeah, I like that, and then that'll help me really understand what my likes are, dislikes, turn-offs, and turn-ons are. It's just like being upfront. Now, the problem is, and this is where I be tripping off of, because guys, you want to act like that women are like so emotional and get so attached or whatever. That ain't okay. Now,
men are probably worse.
Exactly. And that's where the problem come in at, because you can have a woman and she can be upfront with you, and not even women, men and women, everybody do it. What ends up happening is, you meet somebody, y'all vibe, you upfront with the person. I'm not looking for no relationship, right now I'm just dating, I'm single, ready to mingle. And the next thing you know, or whatever, somebody done caught feelings for somebody, and they done forgot the conversation that was had, that, hey, this is not a relationship. Yeah. We're just multi-dating right now, just having fun. So now then this feelings get involved, and then what people make the mistake of doing is thinking that they can change somebody's...
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. Now I can change your perspective or change your mind or whatever. They were just saying that they wanted to multi-date, but they ain't meet me yet. So now that they didn't got with me, watch I change them. I can tie them down or whatever. No, you can't. I done told you I was multi-dating. So don't come get mad at me now.
Say, talking to a lot of like my guy friends, or even like while multi-dating, having these conversations with guys, I definitely hear guys say like, oh, I told her from up front, like I was not trying to settle down at that moment. I was just having fun, or I was just enjoying myself, or I just wanted somebody's company, and she felt as though, I'll possibly change. Even I've heard that from women's point of view as well, where women would be like, I told the guy I wasn't looking for anything permanent right now. I was just, trying to get out my feelings, or trying to get a rebound, or whatever the case may be. And it was just that rebound, and now he don't call feelings. So I hear that from women and men. You can't change. If somebody comes and tells you, how they're feeling up front and what the situation is going to be, call a spade, and go about your business. Yeah. Don't look at it any further than that.
How you were saying, that happens a lot, like men and women, and that's the thing. Like you can't change anybody. If neither one of you have initiated the conversation to say like, hey, when we first started talking, what we had agreed upon is that, we were just kind of dating, like having fun. It was nothing serious. We wasn't committed to each other. If y'all had that conversation and both of y'all in agreement now that like, hey, I want to take it a step further, now I want to be committed, I want to be exclusive, as they say. Then that's different. Now you can kind of hold that person accountable, because both of y'all agreed. But if he ain't agreed to that, you can't get mad at this man because you know
he out doing what he
exactly
do.
he doing what he doing. And if
You
she
better go do what you do.
yeah, and if she ain't agreed to that, you can't get mad at this woman because you know she out enjoying herself.
My thing is though, I feel like it's a double standard. And I've dealt with a lot of guys who, well, not a lot of guys. I've dealt with a couple of guys who I'm like, oh, I'm multi-dating. And they're like, what's that? And I'm like, okay, that's when you date multiple people to figure out what you like. And then I'm like, just because I'm multi-dating does not mean that I'm multi-sexually active with these individuals. It's because I'm multi-dating does not mean that I'm multi-sexually active with these individuals. If that's what you do, that's what you do. But that ain't for me. But that doesn't mean I'm sexual with multiple individuals. And they get in their feelings. They're like, well, I thought that, you know, in the talking stage, you don't talk to nobody. Sorry. We not talk. I don't do talking stages. We multi-dating. I can figure out if I like you or not.
Right.
And then I go from there.
You know, the talking stage, to me, we talking to get to know each other better. I haven't decided if that's what we doing yet.
I don't know if I like you or not. I might go on one date with you and be like, that's never going to happen again. That's why I really think all of these, so we're dating, we're talking, we're dating, and then we're somewhat exclusive, then we're really exclusive, now we're publicly exclusive. I hear all of these like different things of different stages of what a relationship's supposed to be, and that don't make sense to me. Be clear on what you want from the get-go, and if you're clear and you're honest, there's no reason why it should go wrong if you're honest. Just be honest with the situation.
And it's human nature to catch feelings. So I'm not gonna be like, but I caught feelings, so now I'm mad at him. But at the same time, if he's made that clear and I catch feelings, like I said, if you vibing with somebody, you hanging out with somebody, you gonna catch feelings. You know. But I can't be mad at him. If anything, I'm mad at myself now because I put myself in the situation that I thought I could handle. I really couldn't handle it, and now I'm catching feelings. If you agree to to deal with somebody or whatever that's upfront with you and say they multi-dating or whatever, then accept the terms that come with that.
Exactly.
Or if it ain't for you, it ain't for you. It ain't for everybody.
Exactly. But one of my favorite lines is, and people hate this, when you multi-dating, they ask a certain question. I say that sounds like a boyfriend question. You're not there. You're not in that predicament. You're not in that position to ask me that question. That's a boyfriend question. That's a husband question. You don't get that.
Yeah, I like that.
Sorry, not sorry.
I like that.
So how do you feel? So multi-dating is pretty much like one of those first stages of, you know, getting to know people and kind of figuring out what you would like in a possible, you know, lifetime partner or, you know, a husband or a wife. But what are your thoughts on, you know, open marriages or entanglements within marriages?
So,
and we got some statistics too. Like we got some good statistics here.
So my thoughts. My thoughts. So my personal thoughts. I'm trying to like pull this up but I'll share my thoughts. I think that marriages, when you think of like open marriages, it's not for everybody. So it really depends on those two individual situations. So I wouldn't say like open marriages is good, open marriages is bad. It just really depends on the situation. I mean, okay, so and then if I'm speaking on myself personally, like could I personally do it? You know, it just
it depends.
It depends on the situation. Like I think that like, you know, like how when we talk about the stats, some of the stuff can work, but what has to happen is that like both of those people have to have the understanding. So what I mean by that is like, okay, if I'm gonna sit down with my spouse and be like, hey, you know, and we're considering like an open marriage, we're gonna have that conversation so we're both in agreement. You can't never do something just because that's what the other person wants you to do, or you're trying to make that other person happy. So then it's like, well, I'm gonna do it because it's gonna make him happy, or I'm gonna do it because it's gonna make her happy. So yeah, like when it comes to open marriages, I don't think it's taboo. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. But really, it just depends on the individual. It depends on where they're at in their marriage, where they're at, like as an individual. I will say this though, I think in order to be in an open marriage and for it to be a successful open marriage, y'all got to be really confident, like with yourself.
Yeah.
Like you got to be confident, and he got to be confident, or he got to be confident, she got to be confident. Immature, confidence. Mature, have high self-esteem. You can't have no low self-esteem. It ain't gonna work.
It ain't work. One thing that I would say, I've never been married, and I'm not married right now. But one thing I would say about just listening to multiple individuals, marriage is not like a one-size-fit-all. Marriage is every marriage that I've seen work is completely different from the next. I mean, completely different dynamics. What works for you might not work for the other couple. So with marriage, you really have to have a true understanding and be able to converse with your spouse to figure out what's best for you guys. And that comes from you guys having an understanding of yourself and knowing yourself as an individual, and knowing your spouse, and your spouse being willing to open up to you and be vulnerable. And you guys have to have that type of trust to be able to do even just to have a marriage and commit to one another and figure out what you're going to do next. That's a big thing. If a lot of people choose not to do is what I see going wrong at the beginning of marriages, or when I see friends divorcing and they only been married for like 6 months or a year or a couple years, is they got married to pretty much just get married.
They got married with the wrong understanding of what a marriage is. They got married thinking that the honeymoon phase was gonna last. The honeymoon phase is not gonna last. So when you get married, like you gotta like understand, like, and that's why I try not to give like relationship advice or whatever. If I give relationship advice, I'm usually giving advice specifically like to this individual, like what you can do to satisfy your relationship or improve your relationship, or what you can do. But like as far as telling somebody how to make their relationship work, you can't do that. And that's the thing. I think a lot of times people get married and these marriages ended, like some people do get married just for the sake of being like, I's married now. Like on the color purple. And it's like, no. And it's like, you got to understand that. Like, no, getting married is not going to change the situation. If the person was a bad person prior to y'all being married, they're going to still be that person after y'all married. They was cheating
before.
Right.
Like, they going to cheat after. It's not going to change them.
And you got to understand, too, is that people continuously evolve. So that's something you got to deal with too when you're in a marriage or relationship or anything. Like, just look at yourself. Like, from as you grow, like for me, I feel like I have like a 5 to 7 year involvement that I keep finding myself go through. Everybody like evolves. So that is going to bring stuff. This person, now you're in this committed relationship, in this marriage with this person, but you're still an individual and this person is still an individual. And both of you guys are evolving, changing. Your mindset changes, your outlook changes. Like that's things that I'll say now that I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with that. 10 years ago, I would have been like, hell no. So it's like, when you know you got to evolve along with this person, with your marriage, and you got to be able to like deal with the bumps in the road. Like, because like how you were saying, like when you talk to different people, when you go and you talk to people that's been married for like 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, these old people that's been married for so long or whatever, I ain't never met anybody that been like, my marriage been perfect the whole entire time.
I used to love having conversations with people, older people. I used to meet them all the time at the bank, and they would talk about, I was like, how did you make your marriage last for so long? Well, what happened with us, we figured it out. It was between us. I didn't go to this person. I didn't go to this person, because what I can forgive, my family might not be able to forgive. So I have to figure out what I'm going to be able to tolerate, and so is that person. And that was something that I was like, oh, I never thought about that. Like, you really got to look into, and then like one thing that I really liked that this one lady told me, she said you have to really actually like your significant other. She was like, you can love people all day.
Oh my God.
But she was like, if you genuinely don't like somebody, she was like, you can love somebody and don't like them. But if you genuinely like that person, you can converse about anything. You can remember like, oh, I actually like this person. I can talk to this person about this. So you have to realize like, it's not just about liking somebody. I mean, loving somebody. You have to actually like them. Can you converse with that person on a regular? And sometimes you don't even have to have the same opinion on situations. It's just, is that person willing to have that conversation? Is that person going to be vulnerable with me? Am I going to be able to be vulnerable and open with that person? So that was something I love taking from talking to older couples who've been married for so long. They can tell you that it's not easy. It's not going to be an easy road. And from every relationship that I've heard, everyone has been different. Everyone has been different.
Yeah, because, people are different. And it's like, so that's why, I would never tell someone, like, don't do an open marriage or, open marriage, that's bad. I wouldn't encourage anybody either. Like, I'll be like, if it's for you, it's for you. Like, that's all I would ever say about that situation.
But I also think that comes from you not being a judgmental person either.
Exactly, yes.
Because I'm the same way, like, oh, okay, that's what you want to do. Go ahead and do what you do. Like, I can't tell you, what's going to work for you. If it works for you, then it works for you. But one thing I will say is, with women, from what I'm realizing with some of my women friends, a lot of people do things to please the other.
Yeah.
And that's where I might step in and be like, wait a minute, are you doing this for you or for you guys? Or are you just doing this to please that individual?
Yeah.
And that's where it comes from, because I see that a lot. Like, especially at this age, it's a lot of things where people be bringing other people in the relationship and things of that nature. But you see that
threesomes?
Yeah, threesomes.
Okay.
People be bringing them in for threesomes, but they don't. The woman don't be wanting to do it. Like, you can tell she's doing it for the guy, and I'm like, you're not. She was like, I had one friend who was saying, oh, well, he wants to do it. What do you want to do?
If you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Exactly.
But don't do it, because you can have resentment. You could feel bad. You could feel guilty. Or, if we're just keeping it down to the physical, you may not feel satisfied.
Exactly.
So,
if he can't just satisfy you, what makes you think that he's going to be able to satisfy two people?
Right. Right. That's another episode. So, but and then on the flip side, if you want to do it, do it.
Enjoy yourself. I don't have no.
cares?
That's what you want to do. That is your body. That's what y'all want to do. But don't do something because the other person wants to
do it.
And you just like, oh, well, if I don't give it to him, he's probably going to go out and get it from somebody else or whatever the case may be. Don't do that. Do not do that. Be so confident in yourself that you can be like, okay, well, if he leave, he leave. Shoot, it is what it is. Like, and I bet you I've seen guys actually gain more respect for their woman from doing that. I've really seen guys do that. Be like, oh, she told me what she wants.
That's like so amazing. It's amazing to me how, like, when a guy, like, they'll sometimes come across like they want you. And before I go into this, I will say I believe in, like, being submissive or whatever. I believe in, like, a woman having, a certain type of role or whatever. I believe in all of that or whatever. I don't got to be like, I'm independent. I don't need to. That's not what I'm saying.
Let a man be a man.
Right. But it is something to be said about, like, when you think that's what a man may come across like that, but then he does still like that independent side of you for you to be confident enough to say what you want. And also, like what you were saying, that is something about being able to be like, well, all right, then, if you're going to go. It almost makes them stay.
Yeah.
Like, she ain't
really concerned one bit.
What's going on here?
How many views in your inbox?
Exactly. Something you ain't telling me.
But I see that all the time. And I'm like, and I don't even feel like that's like you not being submissive. I feel like that's more of you sticking up for what you believe in and what you value. If you choosing not to do that, that's something on you. That's not even you, like, being submissive. Some women may take it as that, but I think there's other ways to be submissive. But in that case, that's more of you just speaking up for what you believe in and what you go against.
So One of the articles that we were looking at, and it was giving the marriage stats, and it was saying that 51% of marriages end in divorce, and I've heard that. And so, but I look at it like, okay, so that's still 49% of marriages that are successful. So, because I feel bad when you have people, because I think sometimes marriages get a bad rap, and that's why I said, like how you were saying, it's not that marriage is bad. It's about, if you decide to get married, you have to figure out what works for you. So I feel bad when people just like, oh, I ain't never getting married, da da da.
Yeah.
Because it may say 51% of marriages end in divorce. Then you have to go deeper, which we didn't do a deeper dive into the statistics. But that's even broken down by race. So like, I think African Americans or blacks, whatever you want to call it, which is going to be another topic, is much higher. But then I look at it like, okay, but still 49% of these marriages are lasting. So really it's a 50-50 chance. And that 50-50 chance is going to depend on what you and your spouse decide what type of marriage y'all want to have. And then whatever type of marriage y'all decide y'all want to have, y'all own it. So then moving on to some of like the statistics about like open marriage. So first I wanted to look up like what the definition of an open marriage is, because sometimes that gets misconstrued too, where really the guy wants the open marriage, or they're like, we're in the open.
I was like, when I heard open marriage, I'm like, more than likely it's just the guy stepping out. It's not even the woman, it's just the guy.
Right. Then that's not the case. So open marriage is a marriage or relationship in which both partners, let me say that for the people in the back.
Both partners
agree that each may have sexual relations with others. So that's the thing. Both of you guys have to agree. It can't be just one. It can't be just him. That's something completely different. Then you're talking about sister wives.
Exactly.
And the stats for open marriage, this I got off of www.sexcoaching.com. It says that pretty much, and it's a wide range, it says that their open marriage stats have shown a rate of open marriage in the U.S. could be somewhere between 1.9% to 9%.
And then you got to think it's only 49% of marriages lasting. It's only, what's the population of people who get married?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, you get to between 1.9 to 9%. That's a good amount of people. But then you also got to think, are these people lying? Because it might be some people lying, saying that they're not in open relationships. But in actuality, they are.
So, again, on sexcoaching.com, it was saying they did a survey of 1,092 people who were in open marriages or swinging. We hear that term too. So it said that 80 to 90% of the people were happier after they start to engage in the swinging lifestyle. Why do you think that is?
I think because you get to experience multiple people. Like you are... I also, okay, so I feel like because you get to experience multiple people, so you're not with your partner 24/7.
So you get approved hostship.
Exactly, that's what it is. So you get approved to do that. But I also feel like that comes with, if you're going to be a swinger, you got to be 110% honest. Transparency is like key to that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's probably what it is too. It's like they very honest with each other.
I agree. I think that anybody that's in an open marriage, and probably to this point, while they're 80 to 90% of the people are happier after they started their open marriage, is because to get to that level in a relationship is like you said, that means it's gotta be all cards on the table. We're like so honest with each other, and we have such this like commitment to each other that's so much bigger than who we are sleeping with. That's probably why they happier, because all that extra stuff is like, you take a step back and you like, this is really a non-issue. I mean, or they just happy because they getting some good dick.
That's true.
I don't know if I understand that. Some good love. Some good loving. You know? They get
unconditional love.
Yeah.
Below the waistline.
Below the waistline. They feeling good.
But I feel like that's what it is. It's just honesty. Because when you get to that point, that's nothing but honesty.
Right. And we all ain't mature enough to get to that point.
No,
So,
because I can genuinely say right now, I am nowhere near that.
I think that's how you should be though in a marriage. Like, if I should be able to tell you everything.
Yes.
Like, if I can't tell you everything, if I can't be my true, authentic self with you, then there's so much other things in our marriage that we need to work on besides an open marriage. Because, you know, even reading this article, it seems like open marriages tend to lean towards just sexual satisfaction. So that in itself lends me to believe that maybe some people engage in open marriages because they're not sexually satisfied with their spouse or whatever. So maybe that's something that, you know, the two can explore together. But it doesn't seem to be like anything like emotional. So yeah. So I want to be able to be my 100% authentic self, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And if I can't, then before we even be discussing about bringing anybody else into the situation, we need to fix that part. So, yeah. I mean, I think it would be awesome for people. I mean, I guarantee that, like, I'll take that back. I was about to say that I guarantee, like, that the people that are in open marriages, that if they had a successful 80-20 marriage, that they may not be. But that's not the case. Like, some people, I mean, I've had people tell me that, you know, it's just they don't see it as being natural to just be with like one person. But they have such a strong love for their spouse that they couldn't see living life without their spouse. So I have such a strong love for my spouse on so many other levels that I know this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with, but I'm not satisfied. Yeah. So again, it's one of those things where, for me, I can't say it's right or wrong. I'm gonna say it is what it is, and it really depends.
That's your decision. On y'all.
Decision.
It's a lot of things. I feel like when it comes to when you're dealing with someone else, that's just what y'all decide on. Even like with friendships, how you deal with that one friend is different than how you deal with the other friend. So I think that all tunes down to like what you decide what you're going to do and what you're able to accept and what you're not. Like, you need to set those deal breakers, and like you were saying, like, you evolve over time. So your deal breaker after 5 years might be completely different from the beginning.
For me personally, that is my situation. Like, something that was a deal breaker for me 5 years ago is definitely not a deal breaker for me now, because it's just like, you know, the parent, like, okay. I can deal with that, because this over here though, this right now is what is important to me. Yeah.
So I guess it's over time. But we're both women, so I feel like we need to get a male's perspective.
I agree.
Check out the male perspective on open marriages and multi-dating in part 2 of our video.